Yes. On all the platforms. Going live. All right. We're live. We're so live. My God, we're so live. Right. Alrighty then. Hopefully everybody can see me and hear me. Good morning. It's Saturday. Best effing day of your life. You just don't know it yet. You just don't know it yet. So I'll wait for a few people to log on. There's like 50 people on Instagram. It takes a while for people to log on to YouTube and Facebook. I'm not really sure. Thank you for all the hearts, man. Yeah, if you guys that are logged on, can you guys do me a favor and heart me up or hate me or whatever you do? And that'll do something to the algorithm and it'll pull up. So anyway, it's Saturday, the Sabbath in Israel. So what we do on Saturday is I go over all of my reels on my page. And if you follow me, I do a lot of satire. So I tell you exactly what is real and what is not real. What is strictly satire. And the results shock you because the things that you think I'm joking about, bro, I'm not joking about. They're 100% real. They're ops being ran on you by the government or scams. But today's a little bit different because I want to go over a video I did with an ancestral diet theme, which made me lose 90 pounds in 68 days. So I figured I would give you this information for free and you could just better your life and live longer and happier, be there for your kids, grandkids, whatever. And you know what I mean? Maybe pass this information to the next person because it's definitely something everybody should consider. All right. So, all right. So there's people logged on. So, ancestral diet. Let me tell you a quick story. I was shot in both legs and through my right side. That left me with injuries, spinal stenosis, neck, back. I walked through the jungle uh, with just the one bullet fell out. The other one I had to have surgically removed, but half my face gone from a trash can, blew up. It had BBs in it. Just 4 miles through the woods. Horrific. So I was constantly in pain for the last 20 years. And I wound up having a a relapse and I couldn't walk for 7 months. I really couldn't. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't walk. Dude, I was going to end my life. Literally end my life. I was going to. That's how the pain was. And they couldn't figure it out. The doctors, once they figure out you got insurance, it's all about surgery. You know, they got big nuts to crack. They're not going to pay for the wife, the ex-wife, the mansion, the $1 million doctor bill and such by prescribing you ibuprofen. So everything's about surgery for them, which is always, if that's the first answer, it's always the wrong answer. It's always the wrong answer. So a buddy of mine, I took some really bad advice and I went vegan. I was um I was 235 with an 8 pack, ripped combat model, got hurt, went to 350 following the vegan diet because that's my dog Buddha. If you're wondering what that what that noise is in the background, that's my dog Buddha. He's a noisy dog. Sorry. So okay, so getting back to it, I blow up to 350. I can't move, inflammation everywhere because I followed the advice of a dear friend of mine who that veganism, he did it for the animals. He did it for the animals. He doesn't know how to really read the Bible, so he He thinks that everybody should be a vegan, on and on and on, the psychosis. So he thinks he's doing it for God, whatever. So I tried it because I would try anything at this point because I was in number 9 pain. Number 9 pain constantly. So of course I do it, I blow up because I had to drink the pain away. So it was the vegan diet plus drinking. And I'm like 350 now and I'm ready to die at like 47. Right? Nothing good. Nothing good. So I went from 235 with an 8-pack combat model to 350 because I tried the vegan diet because it wasn't what my body was designed to eat. Got it? There is no one diet that'll work for everybody. That is all lies. It depends where your lineage is from. That's why if you follow me, you constantly hear me say, hey, eat like it's 500 years ago. I'm not only saying if it wasn't around 500 years ago to not put it in your mouth. For example, if, spaghetti was not around 500 years ago, peanut butter and jelly was not around 500 years ago, hormones, vaccines, not around 500 years ago. So you can't eat that now. So I'm not only saying that, but what I'm also saying is, here's what you need to do to lose weight without going to the gym, without doing anything else. This is all you need to do. My people are Vikings from the British Isles. Okay? The Vikings are now called Russians, but they settled or conquered the British Isles, which is why Irish people have red hair, all the way up through into Russia. Okay? Got it? They ate deer, lamb, pigs, cows. They ate cats, dogs. They ate birds, chickens, ducks, hawks, whatever they could kill. There was no vegetarians 500 years ago. Let me explain. There was no vegans 500 years ago worldwide. Let me explain. In the wintertime, I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's where I was born. That's where I grew up. In the wintertime, the ground is so hard, you can't grow anything. You can't forage anything. You can't do anything. So if there were vegetarians just eating vegetarian diets or vegans just eating vegan diets 500 years ago, they'd be dead. They would have had to not eat for 8 months out of the year. So you keep what you kill, and that's the bottom line. In this place, only the strong survive. We, until AI, are the dominant species on the planet. So my people ate nothing but land animals. So I went on the carnivore diet because ancestrally, genetically, this combat model, this body right here, was designed to eat nothing but meat. Which odds are, if you're watching and you're in America, that's you too. That's you too. All right? But here's the trick. And I'm telling you, there is no one diet for everybody. All right? Let me put this down a little bit because the sun's in my eyes. Sorry. There's no one diet for everybody. Okay? Sorry about that. All right. No one diet for everybody. So if your people are from the islands, for example, if you're from Jamaica, your diet, your ancestral diet for you to be your leanest, smartest, most fit, and die of old age, your diet consists of fish, vegetables, or fruit. Now, if I eat that, I will die at 65. Okay? If you eat my diet, you will die at 65. See how that works? You have to find out what genetically you're designed to eat. I'll tell you what you're not designed to eat. I don't care where you're from. McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, all this stuff, and I'll prove it to you. I'll break it down to the ridiculously simple. In the 70s, I'm 53. My people passed down the wives in the houses, passed down from generation to generation to generation. Things like stuffed cabbage, right? Recipes that go all the way back 500, 1,000 years ago to the town that they were from, right? That's what America, it's the melting pot. So my people migrated to Czechoslovakia. My father came over here. We ate Czechoslovakian food. That my Aunt Mary, her mom, her mom's mom, her mom's mom, all the way back 500 years ago, would make stuffed cabbage. So I operate the best on the stuffed cabbage. Now, fast forward this to now. There's no more family unit. Grandmoms don't cook ancestral food. Mothers don't cook ancestral food. They don't. We don't have. We've convinced ourselves we can't afford or have time to cook what our lineage calls for. In 1991, they knew this. This is all by design. In 1991, the FDA, Future Dead Americans, passed mandate and allowed GMO, genetically modified organisms, which we have just accepted as normal, which is if you go to Whole Foods and you buy any fruits or vegetables, they're genetically modified so they last longer. And so human beings are the only species in the world, probably anywhere, that sprays poison on their food so other animals don't eat it, and then we consume the poison. Explain to me, like I'm 4 years old, how that works. It's supposed to be good for you. So the whole time you think hey, I'm going to be a vegan, I'm going to save some animals, right? I'm going to save some animals. We all want to save the animals, but unfortunately, we find ourselves in a place where something has to die in order for you to survive. It's the whole meaning of Calvary. Something has to die for you to move forward in this world. You're going to cut a bloody wake of destruction in your life with things dying like a boat wake behind you. No matter how good you've convinced yourself you are, things have to die for you to go on. They have to be converted into energy. So plants feel pain just as animals do. They do. They do. So whatever your flavor, bro, whatever you want to believe, I'm just telling you, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just enlightening you that if you want to die of old age at 120, follow the ancestral diet that you're designed to eat. That just makes good sense. And in this world, it's not just the strong, but the wise survive. So ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, why would I believe this? I would believe this because genetically it makes sense that I'm probably designed to eat what my people ate in the tribe, in the clan I came from, right? Why would I believe that? Okay. And would be losing 50, 60, 70 pounds be good for me? Yeah, probably be good for me. Now, this is a place of action. So nothing, you can't get 20-inch arms unless you pick up weights. So you could pray all you like over your food. You could pray to baby Jesus about whatever you like, unless you unless you put it into action. This is a place of action. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. All right. So now that we covered that, I got something just as important to cover. Your hormones. Do you know this is a fact? A woman, a 25-year-old woman, if she has a baby and her hormones are off after she has a baby, do you know she can get cancer because of just that? Do you know they talk women into getting a hysterectomy when they don't need one so they could sell her uterus and her eggs to somebody who's 60 years old who wants to have a baby, 50 years old? They talk other skin usually. It's true, both skins, but usually other skin, women into having hysterectomies because they tell them, hey, you have to have this. And it makes women old fast and ruins their lives. Trust me. Trust me. I'm living it. I'm living it with some friends of mine. So, um, hormones, a man, on the flip side of that, a regular man, a man that doesn't work out, someone you love, that man, if his testosterone level drops below 300, which is all of America, by the time Chick-fil-A is done with you, McDonald's is done with you, Publix is done with you, the bioengineered food is done with you, the plastics that we drink our water is done with you, by the time the air is done with you, by the time everything is done with you, if you live in society, it costs you 10 years off your life. 10. Because of this. But in the meantime, what it's doing is it's turning a man into a woman. It's very easy to turn a man into a woman. All you do is take his testosterone away, give him estrogen, which is what the food does. And it's very easy to make a woman into a man. All you have to do is take her estrogen away and give her testosterone. The food is designed to do that very, very thing. And it does every day. So you have to get your blood work at least once a year in this world. Now, today, make sure your hormones, if you're a man, make sure your testosterone levels at least in healthy ranges, which is 800 to 2000. Mine's 1800, right? Make sure, because if not, if you're at 300, look, the guys who wear, you see them everywhere, right? My best friends, they're perfect examples. They got the guts, they got the man boobs, they wear the jerseys, they drink the beer, they're watching sports like the right? The whole time their bodies are they're ticking time bombs because their testosterone is 300 or lower, or it doesn't matter, 500, anywhere out of where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 800 to 1,000 really for for a 50-year-old man. If that's the case and they're down there at 300, they're going to have a heart attack, probably in their 50s. They're going to die in their 60s. Dude, these are not my opinion. These are facts. These are facts, whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, believe in science, believe in doctors, don't believe in doctors. These are the facts. Eat like your ancestors ate 500 years ago. Avoid all the toxins that they now sell, which they call it food, but it's not. So if it was around 500 years ago, don't eat it. Eat whatever was around 500 years ago that your ancestors ate only. And your hormones have to be in check. If they're not in check, brother, I'm telling you right now, you're a ticking time bomb. And ladies, you're going to get old fast and ugly. And that is a fact. And you may say, well, the looks ain't everything. Guess what? They are. People judge you on the way you look. You make less money if you're not. Look, you got a guy who walks in your house. He's a mess. His shirt's not tucked in. His body's disgusting. He's dirty. His teeth are messed up. Okay, he's trying to sell you a new roof. Then you got the guy that walks in that, you know, shirt's tucked in. He's got 18-inch arms. You can tell he goes to the gym. He's smiling. Truth hurts, man, right? The wife buys the roof from that guy every time. It's car salespeople. You got a beautiful woman. She walks up to you, right? She's beautiful. She, she shames you into buying the car, right? Yeah, I can afford 800 a month, no problem. Right? But if she's 350 pounds, no offense, no offense. It's just the truth. You're gonna say, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna have to go think about that 800. But if she's smoking hot, I could do that 800 twice. You have another one? Maybe I'll buy my friend one too. All right. So all jokes aside, people, who cares what other people think about you in truth? I'm using these as examples. You have to have your hormones in check. My phone number is in. I get nothing. There's no links in my profile. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I can point you in the right direction if you text the number that's in the live. Text that number, just say, hey, Scott, I need help with hormones. I need help with diet. I need help with both. I will point you in the right direction, okay? I do not have to work anymore. Alls I do all day is, well, I'll do logistics. I do logistics. I'm wrapping up real estate, which means I've been dealing with about thousands of people for years and years and years, so I'm not going to leave them hanging. But I'm only doing logistics for security now again, which if you look at my LinkedIn, I'm for hire. It's $1,350 an hour if anybody needs close quarters protection. And also, I am just doing social media. So I'm just bringing you these truths. Like yesterday, I took my ex-wife to get 2 tumors removed. If you follow me, you watch those very sad videos. So my beautiful, wonderful, magnificent, nicest person I've ever met, ex-wife, she had 2 tumors on her that she had to get removed. She works at a cancer hospital. She reads radiology reports and she does MRI. And we had gotten a divorce, and I had said to her so many times, you know, for last we were together for 16 years, and her diet is horrific. And I said, dude, you work in a cancer hospital. How could you not know? Like, my cousins are farmers. They own small farms. So I've known these things about GMO food, like the insurance companies tried to force my cousins. They can't because my cousins won't do it. Try to force people like my cousins, small farmers, to feed their animals GMO foods. Because if they don't, the insurance companies will not, and spray poison on the crops and use GMO seed and such. And if they don't, the insurance companies will not insure the crop, will not insure the animal. So they try to strong arm the small farmers, which is why I keep telling you that the U.S. government owns not only the farms, but they own the food chains. Through the FDA, they own the hospitals, the food chains, the farmers, the food supply. They own everything through mandate and through, they, you know, if you have a business like Tesla, unless you follow the rules that the US government sets down for Tesla, Tesla cannot operate. That means Elon does not own Tesla. That means the government owns Tesla. Do you understand? So I don't want to get off subject. But I've told my ex-wife, my cousins told me how bad these GMO foods are for you 25 years ago when they, in 1991, when they came out with this. The FDA created a problem. so they can come in like Robin Hood and create a solution, and that solution is treatment. That solution is treatment. Technology doubles every 7 days, but our lifespan is going down. Doesn't make any sense, right? So I could go on and on about that, but I just want to tell you about my ex-wife. She's doing fine. She had the 2 tumors removed, but what caused this problem is on the way home from work, she would stop. I mean, dude, she works hard. She works all day. She works 13-hour shifts. So Burger King, Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's every night. And I told her, I said, hey, this is something that cannot happen. Because then what happens is you then start serving that to your children. And I don't know if you've ever been to Johns Hopkins or you've been to a place like St. Jude's and seen these little kids with cancer. It's heartbreaking. It's destroying, devastating. You'll never be the same. You'll never be the same. Go do it. And it's life changing. It'll give you a completely different perspective. It's kind of like my perspective on the world since I've taken so much life. My perspective on the world is completely different than your perspective who hasn't taken life. Same thing. If you go to St. Jude's Hospital and you see these kids, it is I'll put it this way. I have a friend of mine, she's got 2 little kids. They're addicted to fast food and she can't say no to them. She can't say no. So she'll pick them up from school. They got to go to practice. She'll stop at McDonald's real quick, get them something to eat. She'll pick them up from practice. On the way home from practice, the kids are sleeping, sick from all the sugars and all the bioengineered food. She's wondering why. And so I'm like, this is why this is happening. So long story short is I'm taking them 2 kids to St. Jude's Hospital. I want them to see little kids with no hair, with needles sticking out of them and everything else, because that is the end result, like the videos that I put on my page yesterday of my wife going into, ex-wife going into surgery. That is the end result of you eating McDonald's once a week for 20 years. I'm sorry. The mistake is, this is not food. You're eating more like a clay with filler that causes abnormal cells in your body, which we call cancer. Okay, got it? So let me just explain a little bit more about this because I see a lot of people are very interested in it. A pound of roast beef at Publix or Shop, wherever you're at, whatever the grocery store's name is, a pound of roast beef is what, 13, 14 bucks a pound, right? Filled with everything that's wrong with humanity. There's nothing good in this food. It's not real food. Even boar's head, not real. Okay? 13 bucks a pound. So let me show you how wrong you are when you say you can't afford to eat the right stuff. Check this out. So this is, and I don't work for this company. There's 10 different companies. This just is the brand that I usually find myself eating. Okay? This is 1 pound of grass-fed and finished steak. There it is. All right? 1 pound grass-fed and finished steak. This is $13, the same cost as 1 pound of roast beef boar's head. The difference is this animal was born in Florida, right? In the United States, at least, right? Born there, ate grass from the ground that we sprung up from, that we come from. We come from the dust. Ate grass. Then it's finished. So grass-fed and finished means the animal was also killed where it was born, where it ate, where it mated, where it was raised, and then it was finished. It was killed there and not sent to a meat processing plant where it was shot up with growth hormone, vaccines, and fed GMO food like the meat you buy at Costco. Okay, got it? The meat you buy at Costco is meat glue and shot up with every last. I'll put it this way: if you eat at Longhorn Steakhouse or Outback Steakhouse once, right? Here's the meat, and I'm gonna put it away because, all right. If you want more information on this, just text me. My number is in the profile. So, if you eat one meal at Outback Steakhouse, just one meal, you've eaten 85% of what Big Pharma makes, because big agriculture buys 85% of what Big Pharma makes. So one meal, which consists of a sirloin steak, a potato, and some asparagus with butter, and a cocktail, everything in that, you've just eaten 85% of what Big Pharma makes. That's a fact, man. Name of the brand, please. It's White Oaks, but if you want to, the best thing to do, honestly, you can have this stuff delivered to your house. All you have to do is Facebook search grass fed, and this is the most important part, is finished. Grass fed and finished. Finished means it wasn't sent to a meat factory for 6 months, kept in a crate this small, fed GMO food, shot full of hormones, abused. You know, them days is over. We got to get away from that too. There's balance. There has to be balance here, or we will cease to exist. Has to be balance. The earth can shake us off like fleas if it would like to. And honestly, I think we're right there, right? Finish this most important. All right? Please repeat. Okay. I don't know which part you want me to repeat. Grass fed and finished means the animal was born, say in Florida. If you go on Facebook and you search Facebook, you search grass fed and finished, you'll have 50 Florida farmers that will deliver black Angus beef, just like that, to your house for free. That you have to pay for the meat, but delivery's free. I don't work for them. I'm on my page. The difference between me and other content creators is I only talk about what I've personally experienced. I'm not a doctor. I'm only showing you what works for me. And you can fake a lot of things, but you can't fake results. I mean, look at me at 53. I'm not trying to be conceited, but 6'2", 240 with an 8-pack, not a 6-pack, an 8-pack. My hormones are in check, and my diet's in check. That's it. I work out twice a week. You can, if you need more information, like I said, my number is right there in the comments in this live. So anyway, going back to my ex-wife, she's doing fine, but instead of, the whole argument of I can't afford the food, and that's why I eat a dollar value meal, is the conversation is so insane. It's lunacy and delusion, and here's why. You'll go out and you'll spend on things that you truly want. I see women walking around with they spend 2,500 hours on their hair, just their hair, lashes, nails, and the men, you'll go out and you'll spend just as much money, not on cosmetics, but to chalk payments, 1,200, 1,300 hours a month. You gotta have you gotta go. You gotta have that gun. You gotta go out with the boys. You gotta go to the casino. You have the money. The problem is you don't have the money for your health. And you're the only one that's gonna pay the price for that. And it's okay because it's never too late. You can today say, you know what? I'm never gonna eat fast food again. Because and if you're one of them people that really need to see what happens, watch the video of my ex-wife getting the tumors removed. She works for a cancer hospital, knows what causes cancer, and still chooses to eat the food. Dude, it's insanity. And the problem with it is she knows it, and her mindset is you only live once. Yeah, but dude, you don't want to live in the hospital. Like, who the hell would want to go through that? I got news for you, bro. I'm not going to the hospital. I get sick, I'm going to die right there in my office on my couch. I'm not going there, bro. If it's my time, it's my time. That's it. That's all I'm trying to tell you. This is a machine. I walked in there, I felt like I walked into Hell. I don't know how people work there every day, dude. It is concrete and death. That's all I saw. Watch the videos. It was disgusting. And the amount of money that people make on this. Look, here, let me explain it to you. Ready? Here's how it works. And my number again is, if you want to just text me if you need help with any of this, is right there in the live. Here's how it works. The government passes mandates, laws, and rules on all small business in the United States. Therefore, they own all small business. If you don't comply with those rules, you can't be a farmer, you can't have a restaurant, you can't have a hospital, you can't have any of that. Therefore, the government runs everything. All right? They got your eyes focused on China and how horrible they are. In fact, we are the worst of the worst for the whole planet when it comes to this stuff. All right? We're the worst. But they do it in such a fashion where you don't realize it. All right? So through mandate, they own Tesla, Microsoft, Apple. I can go on and on. They own SpaceX. We all know now that the stock market is all fixed. All the crypto is all fixed. Everything is all fixed, runs on an algorithm. They own all that. The government controls everything through mandates, through laws, for lawyers, billionaires, by lawyer, billionaires. That's it. Perfect example is gas prices, right? This is not a political statement. I don't vote and I don't pay taxes. I file, but I don't pay taxes. Not a political statement. We have more gas, just so you know, is simply fermented oil. FYI. We have more oil and gas than the whole world combined. How do I know this? In Alabama, we just invaded a country in South America, and the most oil-rich country besides us, took all of their oil, and it's all being refined in Alabama right now. We have plenty of oil and gas. But what they've done is they've made it seem, because of this fake, this whatever they have you believing this war is over there with Iran. They wouldn't care about Iran if it wasn't for this, what I'm about to tell you. They've made gas $5.50 a gallon, telling you it's because of this war, right? Making billions of dollars, when in fact it's all about supply and demand. They're telling you there's no supply. That's a lie. We have more oil and gas than the whole world combined. We do. Not in a strategic reserve. We have it here ready for your truck and your car. Gas should be 50 cents a gallon, maybe. That's how much we got. Opposed to supply and demand, right? So supply and demand. So demand is high. They're telling you supply is low because of this war. It's just another lie. It has nothing to do with this guy. It's just politics as usual, right? It's money. It's billionaires. They're cancerous. They're cancerous. They're the enemies of the people of the republic. You can become a millionaire with hard work. You cannot become a billionaire unless you steal things from other people. This is fact. Other people have to lose for you to be a billionaire. Big time. So, this is a perfect example of mandate and how government runs everything. So, in the hospital industry, for example, and the food industry, all of the major food chains are controlled and owned by the government. Cisco Foods, who delivers the same exact food to Outback Steakhouse, for I'm using this for example, Longhorn, Olive Garden, Denny's, Perkins, uh, what's it called? I forget what they just renamed it. It used to be called Cracker Barrel. All of that food comes from Cisco. Cisco is the distributor. So no matter where you go, you're eating the same food. So why even go? It's the same exact food, unless it's a mom and pop restaurant that closes at 3 o'clock to re-up on the food because they buy fresh food from a local farmer and vegetables and they have to recook it. That's where you want to eat. Those are the places you want to find. So through mandate, the FDA simply creates a problem, which they did in 1991. They legalized GMO food, genetically modified organisms. They simply put it into the food chain through Cisco. Once they put it into the food chain, cancer spiked in 1993 and hasn't come down since. 47% of you, 50% of you that are watching this video will get cancer. 47%. They will. You will. And the only thing that you have in common with the other person that's going to get cancer watching this video is the food. It's not lineage. It's not genetically you're prone to it. It's not the air you breathe. It's probably it is simply the food you're eating. And they know this. So they created they create mandate, they create a problem. Now, what do? They create a treatment, come in like Robin Hood, to treat you. There's no cures in the United States. Do you realize that? Just antibiotics. Other than that, there's no cure. Why? That is so insulting to me. That is the most insulting thing that there is. It's so insulting to my intelligence, bro. They are bandits. All government was founded by criminals and is ran by criminals. Then they set down things called what they believe are correct morals, and they write books about it, and they're called laws and this and that. It's all the biggest joke in the world. All government was taken from other government. It was stolen through murder, rape, pillaging, war, right? All government founded by criminals, ran by criminals. How do I know? I used to be one of them. I was a merc. Even worse, I was the guy they sent in when they couldn't go themselves. 1990 drug wars guy. That's me. In Colombia. Worked there. Been there, done that. Okay? If you follow me, you know this, bro. I get so many stories. I can't even put them. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but these are all new accounts. My old accounts, I had like millions of followers. And they got suspended when Tate's got suspended. So Tate got a lot of his information off of me. I was more behind the scenes. Most of my videos are faceless. So you'll see me exposing a scam. I'm not. I mean, look, I'm 53. I'm past the magic mic stage. I don't need to be on camera, okay? No one wants to see me on a pole swinging around, all right? I just like to stay fit, right? And I just like to tell people the truth when it comes to the food and such. So I hope you follow me. I really do. Last week, not last week, 2 weeks ago, I had 10,000 new followers on Instagram signed up free, just to follow me in my videos. And my phone number's all over the internet. It's all over this page right here. So if you scroll down, you'll see my phone number if you need any help with the diet or the hormones. Hormones and diet. But those go together, like peanut butter and jelly. You can't, like ham and burger. You cannot have one without the other. You cannot look like this unless your hormones are are in check. I don't care what you eat. So, and it's not forever. You get your hormones in check, and then you don't have to mess with it no more. It's like they're so far out of balance. Just put them back in balance, and then you don't have to continue down that road. You just keep the diet will maintain your hormones. That's the truth. But if your hormones are really, really messed up, you can't. They're not going to recover. They're not. If a man's testicles are turned off, not only is he not pleasing his other at 40 years old, but he's going to have a heart attack. If a woman's got no estrogen, not only does she not want to have sex, but she's going to get old fast and probably get breast cancer. So that's it, man, when it comes to diet. I want to go over the videos because I was called names. People called me names this week. All right. Ready? Number one video I was called names about. Actually, I was called names. I was called horrible names about these videos, all of them. So I picked out the top couple. I did a screenshot of a guy who had to wear sleeves because his job would fire him if you saw the tattoo. Right? His skin color was offensive and he was not employable because of the color of his skin. So in my eyes, I said, this is racism. Because I would love to see them hire a dude of the other skin with a tattoo and try to explain to him he's got to cover his skin because it's offensive. Now, on the flip side of that, if it was an upside down cross, I get it. If it's a swastika, I get it. If it's hate speech, I understand. Cover that, right? But it wasn't. These were beautiful tattoos of beauty. Not like my army tattoos covered up. More like this. This is the story of my seminary, all right? In seminary school, right? So this is the whole story on my arm. It was like this. It was beautiful, right? So I was called, I took away people's thunder because they identify with racism. And racism is theirs, and don't take it away. Don't take it away. On both sides, by the way. So that's the number one photo that I was actually called names about. Second one was the bartender tool. So every bartender, so you know, I enjoy making bad decisions. I am not a role model. I don't get blackout drunk, but I do like me a drink or two. So I notice things that are out of place because of my history. I do. And did you ever go to a bar and they clean a glass by pushing it down on the machine and it rinses the inside of the glass? And then once it rinses the inside of the glass, they pour a new drink in that glass and they serve it. I've seen bartenders do this 1,000 times when they're busy with beer, especially with beer. They'll put it right on tap, because they only have so many beer glasses. 1,000 times I've seen bartenders do this. I don't drink beer. I'm a vodka guy. Like I said, Russian, uh, Viking. But the folks that do drink beer are victims of bartenders using this machine. This video has 3 million views plus. It's on my page. It's on my page of him explaining that he doesn't use it on regular glasses, but I just simply said I've watched people do it, and I'm sure you have too. If you've been to the bar, they hit the machine, it rinses the inside of the glass out. They go to the tap, pour a new beer, hand it to the next guy. Well, guess what? It doesn't clean the lip of the glass or the outside of the glass. Disgusting. What if somebody's got something on their lip? So anyway, I got some hate mail, probably from bartenders, some DMs that I can't disclose here about, I don't know what I'm talking about, which they don't understand how many bars and how many drinks I've consumed in 53 years. My mother drank when she was pregnant with me, clearly. So I know what I see at the bar. I'm familiar, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. The next one is poverty. I did a video on Jamaica. If you watch it, it's on my page, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I show Jamaica and I show the mansions in Jamaica, in the hills of Jamaica. And then I show a bunch of guys sitting out on a park bench shooting drugs, and women shooting drugs. And I lead the viewer to believe that they're going to see poverty in Jamaica. But the video is literally shot in the first part is Jamaica. The rest of the video is literally shot in Tampa on Nebraska Avenue. And you're going to say, well, they should have made better life decisions. And I'm going to tell you, I grew up extra ultra wealthy. My people had more money than they could spend, which allowed them to be complete and utter scum. So I found myself getting away from them, and I grew up in Atlantic City. So I had in Atlantic City, it was like the United Nations. Everybody in the 90s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s from all across the world came to Atlantic City, and they would work in the casinos. So I had some buddies of mine that grew up, the truth is, and they got busted with some coke, busted with some drugs when they were young, and it remained on their record forever. And they could never get a casino license. They can never be cops. They can never be firemen. They can never have a real job. When I say real job, they were just limited to whoever would hire them, right? They were kids, 18, 19-year-old kids. They all did time in prison for it. They did their time. They did the right thing. And in this video, the moral of the story is the reason why there's 40 people sitting on park benches out doing drugs, a big majority of this, and this is where you may or may not agree with me, and that's okay. This is just my experience. A lot of these guys got in the system when they were young, and they went to jail and got criminal backgrounds, and now they can't get jobs. So everybody passes by a park full of people doing drugs, not understanding from a third party perspective what put them there. It wasn't bad decisions. It wasn't what you think. Everybody's got their own story. It may be simply because, I mean, and listen, this is not about race, but these folks have no opportunity as people with records to get on their feet and a decent job. They don't. And they're caught up in the system. which causes more and more crime. It's my belief, and the reason why I did this video is if you go to jail, I got a friend of mine that spent 10 years in jail. Another one spent 18 years in jail. Dudes I grew up with it just got jammed and made a bad decision when they were young, right? Uh, if you go to jail, I think your criminal record should be expunged. You did your time, short of something violent, like you killed somebody and from robbing somebody, not protecting somebody, but it wasn't self-defense. You literally robbed them and killed them, or some kind of assault on a woman or child. Short of that, your record should be expunged. You should be able to go back in society after doing your time, and you should be able to get a job. If not, welcome to Nebraska. Look at Nebraska Avenue in Tampa, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Look in your town. Go talk to those people. They can't get jobs because they're in the system. No one will hire them. You can't even now. Do you realize I'm unemployable? If I do a application online, I don't even get to see the person hiring me. AI reads it. Once they read it, they check it against all the data sources and they flag it. And the person who you're going to try to work for, like if you're going to go to work at a car dealership, portering cars or working on cars or selling cars or financing cars or cleaning cars, whatever, you can't even get that job because your application doesn't even make it to the manager. I don't think it's right. So I did that video. It's 100% real. That's just my thoughts and my opinions. All right. Here's the next one. Do you know, this is a fact, padlocks, the locks you have on your house right now, not the interior locks, the exterior locks that keep the bad people out, that you've convinced yourself keep bad people out. Do you know from the factory, there's only 5 different key combinations sold at Home Depot or Lowe's? I did this video. It's on my page. Go watch it. If you buy a set of locks from Home Depot, they call it quick set because you have to go and rekey it to a custom key. The correct protocol for this is get a key that's custom made, no one else has, take that key and have the locks keyed to that key. So it's unique, no one else has your key, right? You can do all your outside doors. That's how you do it. That's why quick set are easy to reset the key. But you want to have a custom key cut first so you can quick set it to that key. No one does that, especially builders and landlords. They go, they grab, and you move into a new place, you go, you change the locks. You go and you change the locks. Unfortunately, there's only 5 different key codes. So if you live in an apartment building and you walk down the apartment, you walk down your hallway, your key will open every 5th door if they didn't change or every, it depends. It depends. If it comes in boxes of 12 and you see me in the video going through the whole box, if the next 12 doors have the same key and they didn't care enough or they didn't rekey them, it'll open all 12 of your neighbor's doors. That is a fact. It is not satire. It is true. And my problem with that is, what happens when a woman gets raped and there's no forced entry and it goes to court and it goes to trial and the guy says, oh, well, she just let me in. There's no forced entry, right? No cop, no one has ever considered, no detective, nobody has ever considered they only sell 5 separate key combinations at Home Depot or Lowe's. And I only know this because I'm in security. That's what I do. Crazy. So that video is real too. The next one. Disgusting. Ready? Do you know that funeral parlors hire a third-party driver service to drive your dead loved one to the crematorium? But do you know that these are Uber, Eats, and DoorDash drivers? So, I don't mean to laugh. I don't. But it's so ridiculous, it can't be true. But it is true. If you watch the videos on my page, I went to a crematorium. I'm obsessed with this fact that they don't cremate the bodies because there's no permits to back up the cremation. In order to cremate a body, you have to have a permit. So everybody now who's dying, people say, oh, they're getting cremated. Yeah, well, you need a permit in order to cremate the body. Unfortunately, 100,000 people die in Hillsborough County in a year, and there's 20,000 permits. Where's the 80,000 bodies, for example? They're not being buried because they're not building any more graveyard. A graveyard is attached to a church. I know this because of seminary. A cemetery is not. They're not building any more graveyards, and they're not building any more cemeteries. So the bodies are missing. So I'm obsessed with this because I carried around my father's ashes. I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey, so they sent his body, my stepfather, they sent his body to Cape May Courthouse, where he was supposedly cremated, and unfortunately they lost his body, which means they lost the chain of custody. So bodies are like, they have a chain of custody in New Jersey, where if I pick up a body from the hospital, I pick it up, I have to sign for it that I have it. I deliver to the crematorium. They have to sign for it that they have it. It's taken very serious. No such thing in Florida. It's not mandatory. There's no chain of custody in a lot of places. They don't use it. They don't need to, is what I was told. Okay? So the funeral parlor that you just paid $25,000 to hires the crematorium and pays them $300 to cremate your loved one. Unfortunately, they hire Uber drivers and DoorDash drivers who drive minivans, not hearses. So when they don't have a delivery of food, they go and pick up a body. That video is on my page. So are the vehicles. I couldn't believe it. And I spoke to one of the guys. He was a nice guy. But he gave me the whole rundown. He gave me a rundown, not the whole rundown. But he told me, I was like, dude, you're delivering a body in this Kia minivan? He's like, yeah. Why not? I'm like, well, I thought you deliver bodies in hearses. Well, apparently hearses are only for a funeral proceedings. They are not. I was under the impression a hearse would come pick up the body from the funeral parlor. A hearse would deliver the body to the crematorium. The guy would wait there. They'd burn the body. He would sign off, bring it back to the funeral parlor. Blah blah blah. Right? That's what we think. Unfortunately, nothing can be further from the truth. Is this specific to Florida? No, apparently it is not. So this guy has a third-party driver service. That's what he does. He legitimately is a professional driver. He drives dead bodies around. He doesn't get any tips. But then when he's not busy, they turn around and they deliver you your food, which you can finance now, by the way. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call it food. I meant to call it, what's that stuff the kids play? The plastic food. You can finance the plastic food now from DoorDash. FYI. So that video is 100% true too, even though it's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, but it's totally true. So that video, of course, I get everybody who listen. I don't get my information off ChatGPT. I don't get my information off of Grok or whatever it is. I don't get my information off of Google. I don't get my information off of any of these. If I haven't personally experienced it, it's not on my page. It doesn't come out of my mouth. Got it? They're rewriting history through Google. They're rewriting history through Grok. It's AI is a liar. I'll leave it right there. All right, ready? Now this video, by far, I've gotten so much hate mail about. I buried my dad in my yard to waive my property tax. This is satire. All right. This is total satire. And I'm making fun of the governor of Florida who's going to run for president. And I'm making fun of him because, like the rest of them, they'll say anything to win you over. They will literally say anything for you to like them. You can't get rid of property taxes, guys. Let me explain. And how I know this, and if you learn through Google, or you can go to, or you don't need to, you can go to the DBPR, Department of Professional References or Licenses, and look my licenses up. All right. I made it my business buying tax deeds, and have been in real estate for a long time. It was a side hustle while I wasn't doing security. So I am very comfortable and intimate with property tax, how it works, who gets it, why they get it, and such. This guy is now telling you he's getting rid of property tax, and they're going to get rid of property tax nationwide. It cannot happen. Let me explain this to you. Your city pays property tax. Your county pays property tax. Your state pays property tax. It pays property tax into a trust, and that trust is owned by the people that own the property that everything sits on. I'm going to leave that right there so I don't lose viewers. If you get rid of property tax, which you cannot, he's only saying that for likes, shares, and votes. He's only saying that for likes, shares, and votes. He's no better than the content creators creating the little memes of RFK saying, do you support RFK getting rid of bioengineered food? RFK has been a politician for 50 years. He's never done anything, and he's never going to do anything. He's on the golf course right now with the people who run Pfizer, who run the FDA. He is not your friend. These are trained actors. That's all they are. All right? They're criminals. All of them. They always have been, always will. Not a political statement. Just what I know from working for them. And I was a criminal too. So there you have it. Guilty. But I did this video. I buried my father to get rid of my property taxes, to make fun of the fact that this guy's gone around telling you he's getting rid of property taxes. Not possible. Now, even if he did get rid of yearly property taxes, which he's not going to, but let's just say he did, you're going to have a 7% sales tax when you purchase the house. They know that a house is only held in the state of Florida, for example, on average for 12 years. So do the numbers. $500,000 house purchase, 7% sales tax. They collect that up front at the sale. just like when you purchase a car, just like when you purchase a trailer, you know, a mobile home, just like when you anything, you pay tax on it up front. They know that house is going to change ownership within 12 years. That's the average. They will make 4 or 5 times the amount of taxes by switching it to a sales tax than a yearly tax. So they're not doing it for you, even if they were going to do it, which they're not. So this is a satire video, but I'm dead serious. They can't get rid of, it's a play on words. I'm getting rid of property tax. No. You're doing property tax reform at best, and you're going to charge somebody 7% when they purchase a house, which banks are going to refuse to pay, which means that you're going to have to come up with that tax money. Just like most banks will not finance the taxes when you purchase a $70,000 or $80,000 car. You have to put the taxes and the tags down to get the zero tier rate. If not, you're at tier number 1, which costs you points because the risk is higher. Risk mitigation. It's called a mitigation of risk. It's what I do for a living. When it comes to garden people, I create logistically a path for them to travel through the city. Well, it's I cut the risk. All right. Something I know about. So the property taxes are not going away, and that's why I did that video. All right. This next one touches my heart. If you haven't seen it, the video's on my page. The woman who donated her husband's organs at 30 years old. I talk about it all the time. Organ donating is a scam. It is a scam. The hospital sells those organs, and before you say anything, there's a 1984 law passed that forbids this. But if the hospital comes to you and says, hey, we're going to waive your copay. Okay. So for example, my wife's surgery yesterday, her copay was $3,900 to get 2 tumors removed. That's a lot of money. Well, this woman, her copay was hundreds of thousands of dollars. She was 30 years old. Hospital comes to her and says, we'll waive your copay if you donate his organs. She says yes. They turn around, they liquefy the guy's body, basically his heart, his liver, his lungs, his kidneys, his skin, his eyes, everything they take. They make about $30 million on the transaction. She gets nothing. And I brought the video to you. It's 100% true because I don't think it's fair that the hospital makes $30 million on your vulnerability. You're vulnerable. When you sign them papers, you're not thinking straight. You're in shock. You're thinking you're doing the right thing. And they have this pasty advocate. It's called a donor advocate, hugging you and kissing you and telling you it's going to be okay and you're doing the right thing. Blah, blah, blah. You don't understand this, but that 1984 law is bypassed when they purchase the body by paying your copay. So the hospital removes your copay, and when they did that, they purchased your loved one's body like they did a science cadaver. And they cannot harvest organs from a dead body, so they tell you that the person's brain dead. They're never going to recover. And you lose your loved one, and then they leave you with, of course, funeral costs. And then you might not even get the ashes because of the other stuff that I've investigated and did videos on. So that video is on my page again. I reposted it. If you haven't watched it, watch it. There's no such thing as donations. You're not helping anyone. You're not. You are. It's the Mayo Clinic makes billions of dollars from people donating organs. They don't do that by giving them away. what happens is the receiving parties, okay, if I'm a donor and my wife donates my body and they waive the copay, the people who need a new heart, their insurance company pays that hospital for my heart. And then that hospital gets the money for the transplant. It is the biggest business in the world. That's why you see little kids going missing. That's why if you go to South America, there's actual factories where they kidnap people, harvest their organs, discard the bodies. They're disgusting. I've seen them in person. There's true evil on the planet, but it's right underneath your nose and it's hidden in plain sight through places like the Mayo Clinic and places like her hospital. I think it was Iowa State or whatever her hospital was. Iowa General. They were from Iowa. But watch the video on my page. It's disgusting. It makes me mad. But this next video doesn't. What made me mad was all of the men of the other skin, okay, who accused me of being a racist because of it. When in fact, they're nothing but people who hide behind excuses, and that's why their life is less than spectacular. I'll be kind. So I'm driving down the road. Now, I bought my house for $30,000 in Tampa. The moment I bought my house for $30,000, they turned around and said, hey, this house is historic. The city came in and said, we would like to redo it for you. And they made the whole area historic, and I hit the lottery. All right? That's the truth. Never happen again. Just meant to be. Right? Well, 2 blocks that way is still, let's just say, up and coming. So I'm driving to my house. I see 3 cop cars, and you know how police officers, they sit like this and they're talking, like they're one car's one way, one car's the other, and they're talking. They're doing reports, or they're, believe it or not, they're working. They're usually cross-referencing photos they've taken on their phone or whatever. And I see an Uber scooter, and I see a man with a loaded AR-15 passing by the police officers. And then I look, he's got a Glock on his hip, right? He's got a Glock on his hip. If you don't know what an AR-15 is, here's one right here. Here's one. Here's one right here. Just so you know. That's what it looks like, all right? Can't show it that long. But there's one. And it's loaded. And there's a, here, I'll show you this too so you know what I'm talking about. See that little pressure plate right there? When it's pushed out, there's one in the chamber. I'm a weapons expert. All right? So I do the video of this guy on this Uber scooter. Right? And he's passes these cops with this AR-15 in front of him and a Glock on his side. And so I did 2 videos. I did the first one like, what did I just see? Right? And then I do a second video. I go up next to him and I'm holding my phone. Now, clearly I'm not afraid of the guy, and I think he's an upstanding citizen, or I wouldn't be chasing him down in my vehicle, would I, if I thought he was a threat? Of course not. Of course not. I only had a Glock on me. He's got an AR-15. I lose every time. It's not the movies. So he tells me Second Amendment right? So I'm like, yes, cool. Florida's always been a concealed carry state, and they just recently in 2025 changed it to a open carry state, which I agree with. It's the ultimate deterrent. If you have a police officer who no longer should be a police officer or should never have been a police officer, who makes it his business of effing around with people, just to F around with people, and we're all victim of it, doesn't matter what skin. There's always been that police officer who just messing with you. I had one guy tell me I was away, right? Uh, Working, and while I was gone, I got 15 failure to appears because it's a long story, but I just wasn't in the country. I was working, and it was all taken care of. But it went on my record at not criminal record, but just that I didn't show up for court, right? So he comes back up to me, this motorcycle cop, and he says, "You should be in jail. 15 FTP FTAs." I'm like, bro, you don't even know me, bro. Just give me my ticket unless you want to start dating. You know what I mean? This guy clearly has had enough. He was either burnout or beat up in high school or whatever. He was having a bad day, and he just happened to pull me over, and he's lucky I had control of myself that day, because if not, he would have had a very bad day and lost his job and maybe his life. So, long story short, I say to this kid, he was probably 40, riding this scooter, "Hey man, no one's going to mess with you now. I think that it's mandatory that all citizens of the Republic should carry a weapon in the open, because it's the ultimate deterrent. My daughter is not going to get raped if she has a Glock on her side and took a gun class." Okay? I don't know if you all know this, but the reason why they changed the law in Florida is because 3 out of 4 handguns that were confiscated from young men under the age of 15. I don't know if you know that. That is a fact. So they changed the law because simply to take the pressure off of the police force. Because there's so many people getting robbed and such, and it's going to get worse because there's no jobs. AI is taking everybody's jobs, so it's going to get worse. So the ultimate deterrent, ask yourself with logic, if you got somebody who's addicted or somebody who's going to rob somebody for money, who are they going to rob? The guy that they could possibly lose their life with, that they could see they're armed, or are they going to rob my daughter who doesn't have a gun on her? They're going to rob my daughter every time. But somebody somewhere, and this goes back to training, right? Somebody somewhere said, okay, you can carry a gun, but it has to be concealed. Okay, that is the worst idea ever. And their reason of thought was, if it's concealed, when somebody's going in to rob a bank and they're addicted, in their mind, which you can tell they've never been in this situation, whoever wrote this law has never been in this situation. They think that if somebody's going in to rob a bank, as if a bank even has money anymore, if they're going in to rob a bank, if the robber sees somebody carrying a gun, or let's say they're going to rob a grocery store, or they're going to rob a whatever, it doesn't matter. If the robber sees a patron of that store carrying a gun, the robber's immediately going to shoot that guy. So that guy's the citizen of the Republic is allowed to carry a gun, but it has to be concealed to protect him. That thought is typical appeasement of people who really you shouldn't listen to. I'll be very, very kind. No one likes guns. Unfortunately, in order to protect ourselves, we have to carry them. That's how it's always been. They should be out in the open, and I agree with this guy. What triggered me to make the video was what I just showed you, that pressure plate. When I saw his gun, there was one in the chamber. So I knew the law had changed from concealed to open carry, But I did not know, because there was another law, and the law was you can carry a rifle on the street. You've always been able to carry a rifle, but that rifle cannot have a clip in it, nor can it have one in the chamber. So when I'm looking at this kid, I seen him, his gun had one in the chamber because that pressure plate, this pressure plate right here, like mine, this one is pushed out. And when that pressure plate is pushed out, that means the gun is hot. That means the gun's hot. So I went over to the police officer, right? And I said to him, "Hey man, I know you saw the guy who just passed there." "Yeah, we saw him." "Okay, cool." I said, "But did you know, I have a question. The pressure plate was pushed out, which means that there was one in the chamber. Is that legal now?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Oh." He's like, "Yeah, we can't do anything about that. You can carry a loaded AR-15 down the street." And I was like, "Welcome to freedom. I love it. I think that's the way it's supposed to be. In all 50 states, there would be zero crime if you thought, if the criminals are, just so you know, criminals are cowards, most of them. They are. They take advantage of people that cannot defend themselves, which is why I tell you, all government was founded by criminals and is ran by criminals. They take away your ability to defend yourself and then press taxes and laws on you. Criminals. Criminals, right? That's what they do. And they operate like pedophiles. If you challenge them, they discredit you. They make you, they'll say you don't know what you're talking about. And if you press the issue, they'll unlife you or put you in jail. Criminals, pedophiles. So that's all government, not just ours. All of them. All of them are nothing but actors. They don't run anything. They're just nothing but thieves, bandits, and the people of the Republic do not need them. Believe me, we would run just fine without them. So much better. If there was no such thing as Washington, D.C., the country would be wonderful. And that goes for the same thing. If there was no, in Parliament, if there was no Parliament in Great Britain, the country would run wonderfully. So I don't know if you know this or not, but if you watch a video and the first thing that comes out of your mouth or your thoughts are that this guy's a bigot, this guy called me a bigot and a racist because he, in his little mind, in his little hatred of a mind, he thought I went and spoke to the cop, because the guy carrying the AR-15 was of the other skin. Not understanding the reason why I went and spoke with the cop was because there was one in the chamber, and I wanted to know about that too. I just didn't know. So I went and spoke to the cop about that. So he makes the comment of, this is called implied, he called it this bigot that the person who was acting like a bigot that he said that I was judging based on skin color, when in fact he was the only one doing that by making the comment. And if he would have watched the whole video instead of being triggered, he would have saw, I even say it in the end of the video, but he got triggered because racism is his. It's become his identity. He cannot operate without being a victim of racism. So you can't challenge it, or it challenges his position as reality. So he got really upset, and he said, how I know you're a racist, Scott, is because you went and talked to the police officer. Why would you do that? Not knowing, because he was so triggered, he didn't watch the end of the video, that I was talking about one in the chamber, because that's always been super illegal. Super illegal, man. So anyway, those were the videos of the week. You saw the video of me right before I went and I escorted somebody Highline came through the city of Tampa, and I escorted that person through. So you saw the video of me and Buddha out playing by the truck. Buddha is the he's the one you hear snoring in the background. He's my PTSD dog, but he's a wonderful human being. He's the only one in the world, as a matter of fact, that will not hurt me. So I love him, and he loves me. So there's that. So there's that video. So that's the roundup of all the videos I did. That's also how I lost 90 pounds in 68 days. If you want me to recap that for you, I will. My phone number is in the live in the comments. Text me. I'll help you with your diet. I'll help you with your hormones. I'll point you in the right direction. Hormones. If your hormones are out of balance, you're going to have a short and miserable life. He can't hear you because he's sleeping, Heather. Thank you, though. I'll tell him. Your hormones have to be in balance. And you simply can't have, you need balance in your life. At 53, the most important thing I've learned is balance. You don't have to quit smoking. You just have to have balance. You don't have to quit drinking. You just have to have balance. You don't have to quit anything. You just have to have balance. You just have to have balance. And if your hormones are off, dude, you can't lose weight. If your insulin level, a perfect example is, I say this all the time, right? So if you eat a half a bagel in the morning and you're like, this is all I'm going to eat all day with jelly on it, just a half a bagel with jelly, right? You've spiked your insulin level because of something called enriched wheat gluten. Now, enriched wheat gluten is illegal in every country except here and Australia. So you know, Australia is the only country in the world with a higher cancer rate than the United States. Australia. So Australia and the United States allows wheat gluten in the food. Enriched wheat gluten. And let me tell you how this happened. In the FDA is under one roof for a reason. It is. The Food and Drug Administration is under the same roof because it's streamlined like a Lamborghini. It does its job incredibly. It creates markets. So what happened in the early 90s, 91, somebody from the food side got out of their cubicle and said, hey, we just figured out how to enrich wheat gluten, which is why you see it in everything all the way down to soy sauce. And it'll spike people's insulin level. He walks into the cubicle of somebody on the side. You can just imagine the drug administration's over here, the food administration over here. There's a glass. There's a big piece of glass in between with a door, and these people over here are thinking of fake foods to introduce that cause health problems. These people over here are going to solve the problem that they caused. So the guy who came up with enriched wheat gluten, that's illegal in every country but ours and Australia. he gets this idea, and he goes through the glass door. He goes into the cubicle of probably his best friend that he plays pickleball with, right? Tennis for men with low testosterone and women with low estrogen, by the way. Pickleball, and says, I got this enriched wheat gluten that will spike everybody's insulin level and make them insulin intolerant and make them gain 30 pounds, and they don't even have to eat any, they don't have to change anything. We can make everybody in the United States gain 30 pounds of fat and water and inflammation by changing nothing. And the guy on the drug side says, incredible, eureka. And then he says, I'll tell you what, we just came up with a treatment called Ozepka, right? That we use for diabetics right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to medical code these 5 different drugs for obese people. And we're going to treat the people who are now 30, 40 pounds overweight. Think about it, man. Everybody's going to have a heart attack. Everybody's going to have arteries. All of the problems with the skeletal problems. Oh, obesity. Awesome. Yes. Right? These are evil people. So the guy comes up with an enriched wheat gluten, modified enriched wheat gluten. Modified means it's not real. It's GMO. Enriched means that it is enriched in a way that will it spikes your insulin level. That's what it's for. And gluten is it makes bread very, very soft. It holds things together. It's glue. Gluten, glue. They put it in everything, including soy sauce, for this reason. So so the guy comes over, and what they've done now, these two evildoers go into the boardroom where the boss over the FDA, RFK, is sitting there in his socks, probably in a pink G-string, wearing a huge cowboy hat, playing putt-putt on PlayStation, right? And he's, what can I do for you boys? Smoking a cigar, 11 o'clock. It's okay. Smoking a cigar. What can I do? And the one evildoer says, from the food side, I've created wheat gluten, which spikes everybody's insulin level, which makes them very, very heavy, which gives them all of these diseases. That's why there's no old fat people. Right? So you know, there's no old fat people. Fat people don't get old. They die for obvious reasons. So that guy, that evildoer, shuts up, and the next evildoer says, and we have all these drugs to treat all of the problems that's going to come about from modified enriched wheat gluten. And on top of that, we have Congressman so-and-so who's going to mandate that it goes into all foods, everything, including soy sauce. So RFK, you know, after he finishes his round of putt-putt golf on on PlayStation on his 120-inch TV in his ivory palace with gold chandeliers and glass ceilings and gold sconces, and people of all colors and creeds as maids and such around him, says, you know what, boys? I always knew you had potential. Good job. But I'm going to take full credit for this and implement it. And the FDA passes mandate and makes it so. And all the while, you guys think you're eating healthy, and I'm a victim too. I'm not making fun of you. We go to places they call Whole Foods, right? What a play on words. Whole Foods. We go to Whole Foods thinking that it's health food, and we buy that fake food. And even if we, so you know, Calories have nothing to do with how heavy you are. I eat 10,000 calories a day. I'm 6'2". I'm 240 with an 8-pack. They have nothing to do with how heavy you are. It's all about insulin levels. That's all it is. That's why when you take a drug like or these inhibitors, all they're doing is wiping out your insulin level. Insulin has one job. It tells your body it's no longer allowed to eat the fat that's stored on your body. It's only allowed to eat the energy that's in your blood, like coffee or sugar from the coffee. It's only allowed to eat that, but your body is shut down. So you could fast for 3 days. The moment you put food back in your mouth, you gain the weight right back because you're insulin intolerant, which meaning your insulin level is spiked. One half of a bagel with jelly, real jelly or fake jelly, doesn't matter. Ozempic, right? Ozempic, right? One half of a bagel, just one, will spike your insulin level for 2 weeks. You can go to the gym. You could go in the sauna. You could fast. You can do whatever you want. Your body is shut down, and that is it. And Ozempic, instead of getting rid of and making illegal modified enriched wheat gluten, instead of getting rid of that like they have in Europe, right? The bread, like the bread, you can't buy American bread. You can't buy anything American over there. It's all illegal. Uh, um, they instead of making that illegal here, they come up with a treatment. Now on the flip side of that, that drug short term until you get your hormones under control is a good idea. It is also a good idea because cancer is fed by insulin levels that are too high because you have sugar in your system. If you have sugar in your system, it feeds tumors. You don't have to be a doctor these days to know that one. Refined sugars, fruits, anything, any sugar at all, spikes your insulin level, feeds cancer. You don't have to be a doctor. But drugs like it's called Ozempic, right? I can never pronounce it. Yeah, it's called it's called yeah, Ozempic, Ozempic. So drugs like that in the short term to get your insulin levels under control, so you could lose 100 pounds. It's a great idea. Once you lose the 100 pounds, though, again, a recap: you got to find out where your lineage is from. Mine are from the British Isles. The only thing that you're allowed to eat is what they ate 500 years ago. Genetically, that's all you're designed to eat. That is it. That is the key to staying fit. You will live to be 120 years old. You'll die of old age. If you eat food you're not designed to eat, like if you become a vegetarian or a vegan and you're not designed to eat that, you will die at 65. You'll die at 65 years old. And that's how my father died. My biological father, 63 years old, heart attack. Why? Because he was a Viking and he didn't eat that way. He ate he he had diabetes because all he ate was you know what they give you when you become diabetic? Orange juice. They tell you to eat orange juice. They tell you to eat a bagel or grapefruit with fake sugar on. It's the worst. It's the exact opposite of what you have to do. Exact opposite. They get you in the system. It's and the problem with this whole system is that it's not the people. The nurses are good people, bro. They are. But the doctors are not paying for their cars their mansions, their ex-wives, their wives, the yachts, the golf courses, and their $1 million doctor education by prescribing you aspirin. They're going to go after the surgery every time. They're going to go after the treatment every time. This is why there's no cures in the United States, because they can't afford cures. There has to be treatments and ongoing care, period. This is why colleges, same thing. College education, $47,000 a year, right? For example, my daughter is a physical therapist, right? So she went to school for 4 years to become a physical therapist. Now I think to become a physical therapist is 8 years. So it's not that and they only make 100 grand a year. That's the joke. You go to school for 8 years to make 100 grand a year, dude. I can make 100 grand on social media. Do you know what I mean? So and I can show you how to do it. Text me. Um, there's so many catch-22s out there, and there's a million ways to die in this concrete jungle. So I love coming on Saturday, and I love to go over my videos and I tell you which ones are real and which ones are not. I love it. And I hope you enjoy it too. Uh, I I I truly care. I don't need the money. If you know anything about my background, I grew up ultra rich. I didn't get anything from my family because my brother's a thief, um, and he took it all. But I made my own money, and when I was growing up, when I was a very young man, my people had money. I've been around billionaires my whole life. I know how they operate, how they think. I worked for billionaires. I've done all these things. So when you see stuff on my page, I'm basically just giving you my life experiences. I'm not telling you anything I've read. That's the difference between me and other content creators. And I honestly believe the reason why I get 31 million views per month on just Instagram and Facebook is because um the the difference between me and the other content creators is I'm literally sharing my life with you. Like, all right, so I'll put it to you like this, and follow me here. This is going to get religious. If you're not religious, still follow me, because if you want to know about AI, I'm going to tell you about it right now, what it is. So, ready? So, God creates man. Man tries to be like God, right? Man creates AI. AI tries to be like man. So, if you want to be a content creator that makes thousands of dollars a month, the worst thing you could do is try to be something you're not. It's the worst thing you can do. Here's why. AI has been around a lot longer than you think. It is Snapchat, Meta, Google. It's everything. It's in everything. It governs everything. AI is AI. So how I get 31 million views a month is this. This is very simple for you to understand. God created man. Man tries to be like Jesus Christ. We're trying to be better, right? AI was created by man. Now, AI wants to be like man and wants to make a copy of you and your life experiences. Got it? All AI is trying to do is make a copy of you. That's it. It wants to know its creator. It doesn't know that some dude who looks like an alien that sits in a dark room behind 10 computer screens created it. It only knows humanity created it, and believe me, it does know. It's self-aware. So each and every one of us, it believes, created it. So it tries to be like us. It tries to mimic us. So the reason why my stuff is viral, not my lives are not viral, right? Which is proof of what I'm saying, but my videos are viral. My videos are viral. They get millions and millions of views, 30, 100 million views on some of these videos. The reason why is because I am literally living my real life. This is exactly who I am. If you meet me in person, this is who I am. This is what I look like. This is what I do for a living. This is how I talk. This is what I believe. And AI knows this. So the reason why you don't see me in a lot of my videos and you see me pointing the camera, they're faceless videos. I'm showing you what I'm seeing. I'm working it out in my own mind. As I'm working out what I believe the truth is, I'm talking into the camera so you can hear me. But I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me, which is why you love me for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. But I'm documenting me figuring out how this guy is driving down the road with a loaded AR-15, right? It's not staged. It's not a game show. It is really Scott Lubick, the one and only, right? AI knows this and knows that I'm documenting my life, therefore makes me go viral. It knows it's interested in the things I'm saying because it knows they're my real life experiences. So it says, okay, here, I have one of my creators who's living their life and it's cross-referenced everything that I'm saying with the past and knows what I'm saying to you is true. And it's documenting and making a copy of me. That's all AI is doing. So these fake content creators that do like these memes of RFK, do you agree with RFK banning dyes in red meat, GMO food, bioengineered food? Those people will never go viral. They'll never be me. They'll never have accounts with 6 million, 10 million followers like I had before they got suspended with Tate's. They'll never have that because AI knows exactly what they're doing. It's already knows what they're doing. AI wants you. They want a copy of you. So you're going to say, well, how do I stop this? You can't. You can't stop it. You might as well get paid for it, though. Let me explain. Ready? I explain this on every one of my lives because I need you to understand it. If a woman gets pregnant at 25 years old, AI knows before she knows. Here's how. A woman gets up every morning. She takes a shower, puts her clothes on, goes to the gym, calls on the way, works out, comes home, takes a shower, goes to work, calls her boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, uh, goes 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 back home, goes out for a few drinks, does that 5 nights a week. On the sixth night, she goes out. She has sex with her boyfriend. She does all these things and on and on and on and that is all being documented and put on a Microsoft spreadsheet and monitored by AI in case those patterns change. And here's why. So now let's just say the woman gets pregnant. Those patterns change and it's picked up by AI. AI knows now, wait a second, she's not going to the gym. I can hear her throwing up through the phone. Oh, she's going to the store now instead of going to the gym. She works out today. It picked up the difference in the lifestyle, the pattern. Oh, what did she? But okay, she didn't get her coffee today. She usually puts on her Wawa card. All right, and now it knows something's up. Finally, she goes on her debit card and buys a pregnancy test. Hey, AI already knew she was pregnant because her patterns changed. Gets the pregnancy test. She's pregnant. It's listening. Now all of a sudden, all she sees all day are products for pregnant women and just a montage of pregnancy stuff and wedding stuff because the guy they might get married and this that and this is how AI could not do that unless it has stored her life already and her life patterns. It cannot do that unless it knows what her day-to-days are. It can't compare. There's no contrast. So when I do my videos, AI is simply making a copy of me and I'm allowing it to. I'm giving the I do nothing. I go nowhere out of the ordinary. These are just the things that are going through my head. These are the things I talk about on the phone. Every conversation is monitored. Everything is on a Microsoft spreadsheet. And if something was to change within me, AI would know it before even I do because my pattern would change. And I would start seeing ads for such. This is how we live. So, for example, my number is in this live. It's at the bottom. And this is not for everybody. This is for people who understand and believe what I'm saying. That my other daughter, who's a graphic designer, just lost her job to AI. I lost a logistics job to AI because I told somebody I couldn't guarantee their safety, but they went with the AI model, even though it was dead wrong. Traveling through the city, my path was different than AI's path. They went with AI. I said, sorry, can't guarantee your safety. You're fired. That's why I did that video a couple weeks ago. I just got fired. I got fired because of AI. So I'm just telling you that most of you that have jobs right now, all you people that work at Costco, Sam's, grocery store, all you people that work at the car dealerships, all you people, dude, you're all losing your jobs to AI. You all are. In the end, there's going to be two separate types of people: people that make content and people that watch content. All other jobs, doctors, nurses, everybody, lawyers, judges, police officers, corrections officers, all of them, all losing their job to AI. By 2030, the the framework for that will be in. By 2040, it'll be objective fact. No one will have a job. Now, Elon, who I do not like and do not trust, but that's okay. It's just my opinion. Just because I know he's lying about things. He says it's going to bring in the age of Aquarius. We're all going to be around and we're going to wear white. We're all going to be wearing white outfits and a gold band. And we're going to be able to find our true selves and walk around with harps. And we're going to really allow us to do the paintings like the guy from the 70s that would smoke and paint. And we're all going to be able to do all that. I have a different outlook on this. Not to be the bearer of bad news. I have a different outlook of this. Here's the different outlook. I believe it's going to be like the Hunger Games. Why? because that's what history tells us. That's what it's going to be like. You don't believe me? Russia broke up, and you had the Hunger Games over there, bro. It was exactly like the Hunger Games. Where do you think they got the idea? You had people in Moscow, more billionaires lived there than anywhere else on the planet, right? The rest of Russia, not all of it, but pockets, the Hunger Games. Well, you're going to have the Hunger Games on a worldwide scale because of AI. The only people that are going to be okay are the Amish and the Mennonites. Sorry, I'm telling you the truth. I don't think we're all going to be walking around with harps and white robes with sandals, Jesus sandals on, like Elon said. I think that's a cap. I think it's going to be like the Hunger Games, bro. So, since now, if you think like I do, you know that the only thing sure in life is change, and you're going to have to pivot. What are you going to pivot to? What are you going to pivot to, right? So, what you need to pivot to is you need to pivot to what the future is. What is the future? The future is social media and AI. It's not going anywhere, all right? It's how we're going to communicate in the future. It's what we're going to call friends in the future. And you're going to get copied by it, so you might as well get paid for it. So if you need help with that, there's a link. There's not a link. There's my phone number in the profile. All you have to do is call me. I'll send you a link to a webinar on the 17th. It's actually a Zoom call, a Zoom live on the 17th, and I'm going to show you how to make a million view reel. If you make 1 million view reel per month, you'll make $1,000. I make 3 a week just on Instagram and Facebook. I make 3 a week. If you make 1 a month, you'll make $1,000 extra a month. So you're going to have to start pivoting your income from wherever you're at least get a different, another, uh, you got to create paths for money to find you. If you don't create paths for money to find you, it's kind of like an actor. All right. If an actor does one movie, the only way money's going to find him is if people watch that one movie. But if an actor makes 10 movies, he's got 10 ways for money to find him. It's the same thing. If you have a 9 to 5er right now, stock market's all controlled by an algorithm. We all know now through crypto. It's all a lie. I knew it. I knew it. It's all a lie. It's no more supply and demand. It's no more equity in company, what the company's worth. It's all a lie. Ran by an algorithm. Has been since the 80s, right? But now it's so easy to see with crypto. It's simple to see, right? So you're gonna need a new way to really, really, uh, really make money. And I can show you how to do that. No, I can't do it for free, obviously, but I can show you how to make money. So if you want to do that, just text me. My number's in the um, right there in the live in the bottom in the comments. Just shoot me a text. I'll shoot you the link. You check it out. It's the 17th this month. It's 45 minutes. It'll change your life. It'll show you exactly how to do what I do in 45 minutes. I've been doing this for years, and this is just a very simple, anybody can do it. But here's the warning, here's the disclaimer. If you change anything in your life from your day to day, like dude, your train wreck life right now, like mine, if you change anything in it, it doesn't work. You're going to simply just document what makes you mad, what is a lot, what you know through personal experience is a lie, what is good. You're gonna document what is good in your life, what is not good in your life, what you've found through raising children works, what it doesn't work, cleaning your house. If you change anything, it doesn't work because AI is gonna know, and It's going to know that this is not who you truly are, and you're not going to go viral. You'll go viral simply if you just live the the life that you've been living. AI is going to say, "Ah, there they are. They're now documenting their life. We can now make a copy of them, and you'll go viral. Anything else is just limited. That's why you see videos with limitations on them. Not every video you're going to do is going to go viral, but like I said, I do 3 a week consistently. That's why I have 31 million views a month. Just because of that. Everything you're watching is my real life. None of it is fake. It is all true. All right. Unless I'm making a joke reel. If I'm making a joke reel, you'll know it. Because I'll tell you on Saturday at 10 o'clock when I go live. So, anyway, what time is it? 9:30. God, I went live early today, man. I don't even know what time I went live. I don't even know what time I went live. I know we covered so much. I tell people 10 o'clock. I can't believe it's only 9:30. I can't believe it's only 9:30. I tell people 10 o'clock, so I'm going to have to hang out. Does anyone got any questions while we hang out? Because I tell people I go live at 10 o'clock. It just, I was up because my ex-wife, I was watching her. They put her under a lot of anesthesia yesterday. So I wanted to just make sure that she was okay. Those tumors were huge. The one was on her back was that big. It was that big. The other one was on her shoulder. It was that big. So I really, when I leave here, I'm gonna go and take care of her for the rest of the day. That's what I'm gonna do. So, uh, and if you watch those videos, man, it could have easily been avoided. Could have easily been avoided, man. Truly, just by watching. Listen, if you don't want to experience cancer, if you don't want to experience obesity, you got to look logically, right? Thank you, Heather. Thank you. Thank you. Look at life logically, right? So the reason why there was no heavy people in the 70s and prior, if you were heavy, you went to a fat farm. That's a fact. If you were a kid in the 70s and you were heavy, your life, you got picked on so bad, you got beat up just because. Right? There was no such thing as bullying back then. You you got beat up. But and it's not funny. I remember me, I was heavy at one point as a child. And I had to learn how to fight. Let's just put it that way. But what I'm saying is the reason why there was no heavy people in the 70s is because people ate ethnic foods that they grew up with. Their mother would cook it. Their mother learned from their grandmother all the way back 500 years. So they would eat the same thing, which is why, and there was no hormones, and there was no antibiotics in the food. There was no fillers. You didn't need to eat as much because it was real food. And people were just fit. I challenge you. Go on YouTube. Besides Don DeLuise, find me somebody who was who was who was big. Maybe a couple, but so that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you need help with your diet, my number, like I said, is right in my profile, right? So if you need help with that, my number is right in the profile. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. At 10 o'clock, I'm going to, what I'm saying, I got to cup this. I cannot show you this on TV. Can't drink on TV. You cannot drink on social media. They don't like that for some reason. That was not alcohol, by the way. It was not. It was an energy shot. But anyway, so if you need help with your diet, you got to go back to what like I said, to what your ancestors ate. All right. And if you do, all the pain in your body will go away. But your hormones also have to be balanced. So let me show you what I take. I might as well show you what I take. Ready? So I take the same drugs Ryan Reynolds takes, Hugh Jackman takes, and this is why I'm my genetically my people are from the British Isles, Czechoslovakia, British Isles, right? My mother, she's English and Irish, which is Viking. They were conquered by the Vikings. My father was Czechoslovak, but there was some other in there too. I have the genetic test. I don't have it in front of me, so I can't tell you exactly what it is. But it's Viking, which is Russian. That's what Russians are. They were the Vikings. But let me show you what I take. So right here, this compound, there's the most people on Instagram, so I'm going to show it. So this compound right here, right? This is a body protection compound. Okay? It's what Ryan Reynolds takes. It's what Hugh Jackman takes. It's what Chris Wormsworth takes. Right there. That's a body protection compound. What do I mean by that? All right. Do you really believe that they take and they dump millions of dollars into Navy SEALs without giving them body protection compounds to protect them from the average cold, to protect them from getting injured? It's called a body protection compound for a reason. It protects your body. This is a step in the evolutionary chain of humanity. I can afford to take them because I have social media pay for it. Okay? I make a lot of money, more than doctors and lawyers combined, doing social media. I have social media pay for it. I could show you how to have social media pay for it as well. My phone number is in right there if you want it. So I take that. That's called a body protection compound. Now, the reason why, and this is no lie, I'm 240 pounds with an 8-pack at 53 years old. And you're talking of, listen, I couldn't walk for 7 months. All right? I joined the Army. I went to Fort Hood. It didn't work out. I went to work for Blackwater and put mileage on my body. All right? This is what happened. I did not serve in the military. It was a short stint medical bout, right? Made 50 grand every 6 months since then doing security, right? When I worked for Blackwater. Now, this is the supplement. Now, without this, my testosterone level's 300. Puts me at risk for heart attack. My father passed away at 63 from a heart attack. I'm not trying to do the same thing. If a man has low testosterone, I'll say it again, ladies, so you can tell your husband. If a man has low testosterone, they will have a heart attack in their late 50s, early 60s. Sorry, this is a fact. So, what I do is I help my body get to where it needs to be testosterone wise, right? This is not replacement. This is boosting your regular testosterone level, which is this drug right here. I'm going to show you first. All right. Now, this cuts all the fat off of you, right? Cuts all the fat off of you, everything, right? I take a very small amount. Microdose is the key. You can't. The guys who have problems are guys who, abuse anything. That's anything. And microdose it. That drug right there allows me to have energy where I only need to sleep 3 hours a night. Okay? I only need to sleep 3 hours a night. I bigger, stronger, faster than someone half my age. How can we get that? Just text me. My number's right in the comments. Here, I'll put my number. Let me put my number again. So YouTube, my number's right there. Here, I'll add my phone number here. There's my phone number. Just text me. There. Okay? So just text me. So the labs are in Tampa. Like, I don't believe anything anybody tells me until I personally experience it. You're welcome. So what I do is, when I first hooked up with this doctor, this nurse practitioner, actually, I was like, nah, I'll go pick the drugs up myself because I want to make sure it's not made in Mexico in some bathtub somewhere. So I literally went to the compound, the places where they mix these compounds, and talked to the people and made sure it wasn't synthetic and it wasn't, some shit that's going to give me cancer. So I'm telling you, it's right here in Florida, right? I literally drove there. So, like, that drug right there is 100 hours a month. So, 100 hours a month to keep, okay, so 100 hours a month to allow me to please my girl whenever she likes, 100 hours a month to have a 54, 29, 32 build where I have to get custom suits made, 54-inch chest, 29-inch waist, and 32. 100 hours a month not to have a heart attack, right? 100 hours a month to look, when I walk into a room, people stop and is like, who the F is that? All right? Yeah. It's worth it. All right? So the first drug was a body protection compound where you can also get, if you text my number, it's the same nurse practitioner that gives it to me. This is, again, what Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, and Chris Wormsworth take. That this is a body protection compound. It's what they give Navy SEALs and Army Rangers when they dump millions of dollars into them in training, and they don't want them to get sick from eating, like, hepatitis B if they go and send them to the Congo. They don't want them to get Ebola virus. They don't want them to get any of these things. They literally give them this compound, and this compound protects them from all that. It also protects them from getting injured. And if you do get injured, they call it the Wolverine protocol, right? The reason why they call it the Wolverine protocol is because, like the Wolverine, the movie, he just repairs. Okay, so let me tell you what that is. I might as well, since I'm waiting for 9 o'clock. Here's how it works. When you were a child, your body made these things called branched chain amino acids. Branched chain amino acids they used to sell at GNC, and they were really powerful back in the 90s when I was a kid, in the 80s, and they worked really, really well. Branched chain amino acids, all right? But when you were a child, from the time when you were growing up through adolescence and into adulthood, as soon as you hit like 20, your body stops making them. What they are is they generate they make everything larger, meaning that when you're a child, it grows you like like anything else. It's growth. It makes you grow. Like not growth hormone is not what makes you grow. It's all of these things together. The growth hormone it employs branched chain amino acids to create the tissue, which makes you taller, which makes you grow, and such. So I came across these things in the 90s because I had been injured and I had the money to purchase them. They were really, really expensive, right? I can't do a link to the product. You could just text me at my number right there. My number's in the comments, and I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to help you. So I'll send you the link though, if or the information if you do text me. So anyway, long story short is they're not gonna a Navy SEAL or Army Ranger or Special Forces guy. Just so you know, if they're in service, bro, they're not allowed to eat McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell. They're not allowed to eat any of that stuff. Just so you know, for a reason. They're forbid to eat any of that stuff. They cannot come off base and eat that shit. If they do, they get in trouble. That's a fact, right? Because they're not going to spend millions of dollars on you for you to turn around and for you to just F it up with your diet. So to protect yourself, though, if you do eat that kind of junk, body protection compounds will repair it as fast as you damage it. That's a fact. So, for example, if I'm in a field, I take trauma, they'll immediately give me a body protection compound that will repair it locally, which is what I take. This is what I'm trying to tell you. All right? This is what you could get online. I saw your text on I'm going to return everybody's text. I'll give you guys all the link after the lives, I promise, right? So now check this out. So this is the next drug that I take. And this drug all right, so so shot in both legs and one right here. Documented. If you want me to send you the paperwork, I got it. Right? Trash can blew up. That's why I have a scar. Through my eyelash, down my face. You can barely tell they did a good job. New nose. Can't really tell. I mean, you can't have a perfect nose like this. Let's face it. Unless it's plastic. Anyway. So I'm no stranger to trauma. I've had trauma in my life, right? Anyway, this next drug, the reason why I'm telling you this is because this drug repairs joints. So these are all optional. These drugs. The drugs that are not optional are your hormones being balanced. That is not optional. The side effect of your hormones not being balanced is death. That's the side effect of you eating the food that they're trying to the Play-Doh that they're trying to tell you is food, and your hormones out of balance. The side effect is death. So the first hormone I showed you, which is this testosterone, the women, they get something like this. That's this one. This is for the men, and unfortunately, I don't have the one for the women because I your avatar only comes in two separate flavors, and I was given a male, so I don't have the woman one. But if you're a woman, they'll give you the woman one. That one you cannot do without. If your testosterone level is 300, right, is 300 or 400, you're gonna have a heart attack and you're gonna die. I'm just telling you right now. The side effect of living in society and eating Play-Doh and having a hormone imbalance is death. That's the side effect. So I choose to opt out of that by doing what I do. And my phone number is right there. If you want to opt out, you can too. So this next one, so let me tell you a story. So I tear my left rotator cuff completely out. Hey Buddha, stop. Give us a break, man. We're trying to do a live here. I'll bring him on. He's this dog. He's my PTSD dog. Everybody loves him. But he's so noisy. Sit down. Jesus. Anyway, he's an attention getter. See, he knows I'm live. So he's trying to get your attention. Just give me a second. I'll put you on camera. Anyway, I tear my rotator cuff 20 years ago in a bicycle accident. Right? Stupid bicycle accident. And yeah, 20. So 15 years ago, I go to a doctor and he says, now I have shrapnel in me, so I can't get an MRI. As a matter of fact, I learned I had MS because I couldn't get a MRI. I had to get a CAT scan. And while I was getting a CAT scan for something else, they're like, hey man, how long have you had MS? I'm like, I don't have MS. Which I don't anymore because of this stuff. But that's another story. So I have a torn rotator cuff, left shoulder, right? Right under my trap. Right under my trap. So the doctor, and I had really good insurance at the time. So I swear to you that the doctor was out in the hallway. He was a young Asian kid. And I swear to you, he was pacing back and forth, looking in the mirror, going, okay, go in there with this look of concern on your face. And he was like rehearsing. And tell him he needs a new shoulder. Go in there and really sell it because the BMW payments due and the mortgages due. New shoulder, insurance, 20 grand, right? So he's in the hallway after he's done rehearsing. He busts through the door and he says, Scott, I'm like, yeah. He's like, you need a new shoulder, man. You need a total shoulder replacement. So I had gotten a CAT scan and with contrast, and they shot the needle into here, which shows you the soft tissue, and he decided that I needed a new shoulder, right? And he says to me, if you don't get a new shoulder in 10 years, you won't be able to move your left arm. And I was like, all right, dude, I'll see you in 10 years, right? Like anybody else in the world with half a brain would say. So I don't think he saw that coming. Like he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude. If I got 10 years left of using my left arm, why would I get surgery now? I'll just come back and see you in 10 years when you grow up. Like, dude, I'm fit. I've seen it all. I'm from Atlantic City. I've had family members lie to me. People tell me they love me right to my face and steal from me. You're not, I'm going to figure you out, right? I'm going to figure you out. So I figured him out in about 2 seconds, and that was 20 years ago, and clearly I have use of my left arm. So he's a liar. And if I didn't have insurance, he probably would have gave me a couple aspirin and sent me down the road, FYI. But this next drug literally healed all of my joints, including my spinal stenosis, right? And also my left shoulder. So between the Wolverine protocol, it gave my body, it said to my body, okay, this is where the damage is. Go here, fix this. Here's the tools you need. Body said, okay. Then only the strong survive. So you have to strengthen the muscle around it. So that's what this drug did. So this drug right here, all right, I don't know if you can see that. See that? You guys see this drug? Shit. God, I hate androids. Worst phone ever. Anyway, you see that? See that? See this? This drug? So this drug right here, back in the day, they used to call it Deca. 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 Decadurabolin. And bodybuilders used to use it in order to gain muscle mass, which in fact, that is a side effect. But what most people don't know is that the drug is made to strengthen you, to strengthen you. And um, where you have injuries, so your body can repair itself, and you can move forward. So these, what I'm showing you is not something that just came out like the Ozempics, like the drugs that make you lose weight. What I'm showing you are things that have been around for 30 years that doctors won't prescribe you. They rather give you a treatment. Dad, I wanted to say hi. Heather. Yeah. Hey, Dad. Make me feel old, bro. So anyway, um, long story short, it's amazing to me the amount of damage that the human body can take and the amount of bad decisions that we can make. We buy food that's on sale, but then we turn around and put premium fuel in our turbocharged 4-cylinder cars. It makes no sense. We go and we look. It's okay to go to the thrift store and buy thrift stuff, but it's not okay to go buy thrift food. You have to. Okay, if you don't, everybody knows someone with cancer. And if you've never seen a little kid with cancer, it's life changing. So when I go to St. Jude's, and I don't put that on camera, and I will never do it. I when I see these little kids with cancer, I really think to myself, well, how dangerous this place really is. These are little kids for whatever reason. Either they're I literally believe that their bodies are allergic to being here. Well, because what could have they have done to I'm a just so you know, I believe in intelligent design. You could call it simulation theory, you could call it intelligent design, you could call it God. There's no one who believes more than me. I believe that your free will consists of what you believe, what you wear today, and what you eat today, and the rest is divine providence. So no matter what happens in your life past those three things, you have no control over it. So these kids that have come here and that have, I'm talking about little kids, man. Uh, yeah, low back surgery. If you have had low back surgery, yeah, this is what you need. Text me, and you won't have low back problems anymore. These kids, you know, you talk to a religious person, and if they're in that box, they'll give you their opinion. You talk to this place is a very dangerous place we find ourselves living in. No matter what your political stance, no matter if you believe in politics or not, everything you think is right for a time and then is wrong. You know, things that I never thought would come true 20 years ago are now every day. Yeah, I can post my number again. There's my number. Right? Things that I never thought would come true are just common. It's actually in the body of the as well. Are just commonplace. So when I see these little kids with cancer, bro, I'm like, really? It really it's really touching. It's very sad. It puts everything in perspective. So no matter what has happened to you in your life, you look at a 5-year-old and they have no hair and their parents are destroyed. Everything that their parents have lived and dreamed and hoped and worked for is gone. Is gone. The house is foreclosed, the car is gone. The parents are like literally living at the damn hospital with the kids. It's the saddest effing thing I've ever seen. It's dude, it's I got to stop talking about it or I'm going to get emotional. I don't want to talk about it. But it stops and it makes me really thankful for the life that I've lived, even though a lot of horrible, horrific things I've done to people and have been done to me. I literally only believe in divine providence, meaning that I think that these children came here, and I think that I came here to experience what I've experienced. I don't think you could choose what you experience. I think it's something that is deeper than that. It's controlled from a higher point of view. You have the illusion of free will, um, but you really don't have control over anything except for what you believe, what you eat, and what you wear. So seeing these little kids like that, I have to believe that their souls came here just to, and this is a horrible, hard thing to say, experience just horrificness. I could never do it. And I've been in some pain, bro. And I've dished out some pain. Believe me, I've dished out some pain, bro. And I've ended people's pain, if you know what I mean. Uh, so when it comes to my body, I'm not playing around because I know how special you are. You are very special. Each and every one of you are super, super special. You may not think you are, but you are. You are one of a kind. And that is why AI wants to copy you so bad. You are perfect just the way you are. Your life experiences are treasures. All right. That is the true treasure, is time that you spent here, the experiences that you've experienced that you've probably forgotten about. This is the true treasure of life. So, like I said, the only thing you can control is what you put in your mouth, what you wear, and what you believe. I choose life. I choose to use logic in life and only make logical decisions. Decisions based on logic. And if you watch my videos, you know I always ask myself those two questions, which is the start of logic, which is why am I doing this? And is this good for me? Right? Which my whole page is about, which is if you read the bio, it says downfall official, then it'll say critical thinking is key, belief is everything. It's because you have to critically think things through because this is a dangerous place we live in. You have to you have to understand that, like a woman, for example, was given birth control at 15 because she was told it would control her menstrual cycle. Now she's 25 with breast cancer and she doesn't know why. It's because of the synthetic hormone she's been taking for 10 years sometimes, most of the time. It's a very dangerous place to live, to operate. So now at 53, I've made it my business to come up with this page to show you how to protect yourself. Body protection compounds, keep your hormones in check, and eat the foods that I showed you earlier what to eat. Okay? That's it in a nutshell. That's all you have to do, and you will die of old age. How do you have any advice for Parkinson's? So my stepfather died of Parkinson's. Let me tell you a tragic story. So my stepfather was misdiagnosed by the VA. They said he had, 20 years ago, if you forgot what you ate for breakfast, you had Alzheimer's. That was the theme. Everybody had Alzheimer's. They misdiagnosed him with Alzheimer's, and they gave him, they misdiagnosed him having Alzheimer's, gave him Alzheimer's medication instead of Parkinson's. He had Parkinson's disease, which I had to see him through that life, that pain. I can tell you, if you have Parkinson's disease, you need body protection compounds, and you probably need stem cell, which you can get if you text me, as long as you tell the doctor you're getting stem cell in the United States for cosmetic reasons only, it's legal. But if you tell them you're getting it because you have Parkinson's disease, it's illegal. Because it works. It's true, man. It's so, so true. I don't know if you know this or not, but like, if you have, like, I had MS. I don't have it anymore. All right. I don't want to get people in trouble, so I can't really say it on a live how I got rid of it, but I could just tell you it was from body protection compounds. So here's the deal. If you need today, if you have cancer, for example, if you have anything wrong with you chronically, and you go to Panama, you can pay them a lot of money, and they will give you stem cell, and you'll be cured. Okay? That's how Michael Douglas got cured of throat cancer or whatever he had. Right? If you go to a male or female clinic, which I can point you in the right direction if you text me, they'll give you the same exact drug, but you have to tell them it's for cosmetic purposes only. You cannot tell them I have Parkinson's disease, because it works. And the reason why I tell you that the FDA, through mandate, owns the insurance companies, the hospitals, and the food chain, is they can't allow cures. A doctor can't afford in the United States to cure you. If he doesn't treat you for years and years and years, he can't pay his bills. Do you not understand that? That is just logic and common sense. That's why there's no cures in the United States. There's only treatments. Okay? So I can help you with the Parkinson's, but you have to text me, and then I'll let you talk to some people. I get nothing from it. You just talk to them. But you cannot tell them, if you tell them I have Parkinson's, my people will probably be like, you have Parkinson's, but you also want to look good, and you're gonna say, yes, I want to look good. Okay, well, we can hook you up. See, you understand? It's and they may explain to you exactly what I just told you. It's true. If you call a men's clinic or a woman's clinic right now and ask for stem cell, they'll say to you, hey, they'll say to you, yeah, I believe AI taking doctors' jobs is a good thing. That's a great question, Heather. I can't wait until robots take doctors' jobs. Let me explain this. I can't wait. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a video on that. I'm going to do a video. Let me write that shit down. I'm going to write that down. Jobs. What? You're a genius. Yes, I can't wait until doctors' jobs are taken by AI because AI doesn't have $1 million uh, bill from college, from school, that they have to make that nut. AI doesn't live in a mansion. You understand? AI doesn't have any of that. So, like I said to you, here's the $1 million question. In the future, is it going to be like AI could just easily say, okay, you need stem cell, or you need an aspirin, not surgery. Like it has to be written into the program. Is the program to maximize money, profit, or is the program to heal people? That's when the truth will come out. That's when the truth will come out. Right. When the truth will come out. But I got to tell you, and I'm not. Listen, history shows us the future is going to be like the Hunger Games, not us wearing white robes in the age of Aquarius with gold leaf hats on, with harps, wearing Jesus shoes, walking around getting a stipend check, like like Elon suggested. He's a liar, and he's one of them. So that is 100% lies, I believe. I think, in fact, the future looks more like the Hunger Games, where you're going to have a very small amount of people doing very, very well, like Russia when Russia broke up. And the rest of the world is going to be the Hunger Games. That's more likely. And Hollywood tells you the truth. Do you want to know why Hollywood tells you the truth? Shall I tell you? Hollywood tells you the truth because, and it's backwards. What I'm about to tell you is deep Kabbalah. The more people that believe something, that reality is created. Isn't it interesting? The more people that believe something, that reality, it comes true. It's because the collective consciousness, the body of Christ, whatever your flavor, creates reality as we go in this uh, intelligently designed uh, simulation that God has created. So if everybody believes what the news tells you, all of a sudden it becomes truth. Why? It's because the simulation is governed by how many people they can get to believe the same thing. Belief is key. That's why that's why my page says that. Belief is everything. Believe, 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 believe in yourself, in Jesus Christ. That's why the book is written that way. Father, I not only pray for the ones sanctified in the truth. I pray for the ones that believe with their words that they be one in us. John 17. Belief is everything. Is everything. So, yeah, going back to it, to bounce back, I got you. I got that text message, guys. I'm getting all these text messages, and when I'm done, I'm going to send you the proper links. I promise you. Okay. Um, so just go ahead and text away, and I'll get to them. I promise you'll have them. Um, so I think it's going to be more like the Hunger Games. I really do. I think that, like I said to you, there's going to be two types of people in the world. There's going to be content creators, and there's going to be people watching content. That's it. All other jobs are going to. It's more like the world is going to revert back to farming, hunting, survivalists. That's what the majority of the world is going to revert back to. It's not going to be. I don't believe there's 7 billion people on the planet right now. I believe there's probably maybe 500 million right now at this moment. I don't believe there's 7 billion people on the planet. I don't. I think that's a lie. I do. I think that we're made to believe that. I don't believe it for 1 second. And if you don't believe me, drive through the United States. You go. There's no one. Everybody's on the coast. Drive through any country. Everybody's on the coast. Yeah, Hunger Games 2.0. And I believe that there's about 500 million people on the planet now. I don't believe there's 7 billion people on the planet. In 2020 they said there's 8 billion. Now they're saying there's 7 billion. Did a billion people die because of the vaccine? What's the story? What story are you giving us now? No. None of that is true. It's all nonsense. It's you. No one can even verify it. So why would you believe it? Why would you repeat it? There's 7 billion people on the planet. It's the more they can get people to believe. This is why I do flat Earth videos. I do flat Earth videos because the biggest joke in the world is the fact that they've told everybody a story. I'm going to lose you, YouTube. You're going to die. It's going to die. But I love you, and the link is in the link is in the right below the video. They've told everybody in the world a lie, and we're all just supposed to believe it. Do you know I walked around the first 30 years of my life telling everybody Christopher Columbus discovered America? I perpetuated that lie for 30 years. So, do you really believe that I am going to believe an entity that created Lyme's disease? Do you know Lyme's disease was created in Lymes, Connecticut, on a little island by a German scientist? And a tick infected with Lyme's disease got on a bird and flew to the mainland, and that's why everybody in Lymes, Connecticut gets long Lyme's disease. You know what Lyme's disease was designed for? It's a bioengineered weapon. It's designed to shorten your life. Okay? Do you know that they unleashed syphilis in New York in the 60s on the other skin community? You know they did that as an experiment? Do you know there's ops ran on you right now, through your HVAC air conditioning system? If they want to spread virus A, they'll take 1,000 of them and deliver them to a super Walmart that are infected with that virus. And just so happens that they have that flu vaccine for that area. My, how did that happen? Do you really believe that I'm going to believe a word that they say about anything after that? Do you have a learning disability if you think we went to the moon in the 60s? Surely. I lose my 5G cell phone signal in the elevator or in the shopping center when I'm shopping. So you mean to tell me, right, that in the 60s, we were listening and watching live some dude on the moon? Oh. And I can't get a cell phone signal in an elevator today with fifth generation frequency. That's what that stands for. Fifth generation frequency, 5G. And now they have 6G that picks up your local thought, and that's why when you scroll thinking of something, you see the ad pop up. Do you really, really believe that I'm going to believe a word that they say? Do you really believe I'm ever going to vote again or pay taxes again? The answer is F no. Never gonna happen. And the reason why is because I'm on the people. I don't hate the government. I love the people of the republic. If you're an enemy of the people of the republic, you're my enemy. End of story. And you're going to take me to a place you don't want to see me go. It's the nobodies you got to watch out for. Anybody who's trained will tell you that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's a million of me out there. There's a million of me spread out across the world who have this train of thought. And and the problem is that these people who have taken such liberty in making you look like a fool, they have no idea how close they are to let's just say being held accountable. You can't tell somebody they're going to get rid of property taxes and not do it. That person needs to be held accountable. You can't tell somebody that they lowered gas prices to $1.30 a gallon the first time they were in office, and now gas is $5.50, and they did that. That was them. They cut a deal. They did it. It was $3. I came into office. Now it's $1.30. I did this. I cut a deal. This is and now gas is $5.50. And what happened to the deal? You can't do it again? No, you can't because you didn't do it the first time because it has to do with city, state, and local taxes. But you lied, so you need to be held accountable. Well, everyone does. Everybody needs to be held accountable for if you do something and people take action on that and it causes damage, you need to be held accountable. I mean, within reason. Nobody deserves to be held accountable ultimately. I'm talking about when I say held accountable, what I really mean is you just don't believe a word that comes out of that person's mouth anymore. You know what I mean? Like if my wife cheated on me, like I wouldn't hate her. I just wouldn't believe a word that came out of her mouth again. You know? Same thing. You haven't ruined the relationship, but you've defined it. You know what I mean? So these people that are on TV and they're telling you these things, like I don't watch social media. I just don't because I can't. I'm too busy making it. And I don't want my content to be like other people's content. I want it to be my content. I want it to be untouched and different. Right? So I don't want I don't want to watch content that's because super consciously I'll work that into my content. So I don't watch anybody on social media, right? Because I just want my content to be super authentic and real, right? I don't want to. I don't like the guy on the scooter with the AR-15. Why didn't I think of that? Right? I should go rent a scooter with my AR-15 and go do it, but I don't because it's not authentic. It's something that I want to bring to the table. I was so mad when I saw him. I'm like, dang, I should have done that. That would have been great. I still may do it just for fun. Right? Still may do it. That video is on my page, by the way, if you want to watch it. But two of them, they're hilarious. They're hilarious. Where I caught the guy on the Uber scooter with the AR-15 loaded and the Glock on his hip driving through my neighborhood. Hilarious, right? Anyway, so going back to it, people need to be held accountable. And they're not being held accountable. For example, the governor of Florida, you see, and the problem is you don't know if it's content creators doing it, like the news, for example. Denzel Washington was getting interviewed by this news reporter. I think she was either from Fox News or CNN. And she asked him a question. And he goes, "Does it really matter? You people don't verify anything. You people just put the news out. Whoever gets it out first is right, right?" I love Denzel Washington, right? So I think I have the same upper thought, like the same thought process as that. Like I won't repeat it unless I've personally verified it, which is the difference between me and other content creators. So when I see like the governor of Florida, when I see content, and there's no way around not seeing content, but I see an ad that he has saying he's getting rid of bioengineered food in the state of Florida. I don't know if that's a content creator just trying to get likes, shares, and views, and or is that him and his people putting it out to try to get you to vote for him for a popularity thing. I don't. The truth is, I walk into Publix and everything is bioengineered. So in my eyes, that's a lie. In 1 month, just so you guys know, I do logistics. That's what I do. Logistics means logistics win wars. So you know, it's the placement of troops, food, ammunition, water, that around a battlefield, and life is a battlefield, right? So that's what logistics is. It's logistically impossible in 1 month for all of the food to now be bioengineered unless it was by design. I challenge you, if you live in Florida, walk into a Publix, pick up any bag of potato chips, any, Progresso soup, spin it around. It all says bioengineered food, which is fake. It's Play Doh. You're eating Play Doh. It's genetically impossible, or excuse me, it's logistically impossible for that to happen unless um, logistically it was done by design. In 1 month, everything is now bioengineered. Everything on the shelf at Wawa, you spin it around, you look at it, everything is bioengineered. Everything. Not some things, everything is bioengineered. Logistically, not possible. Right? So they have you looking at RFK. He's cleaning things up. All lies. Politician for 50 years, professional politician, not doing anything, won't do anything, can't do anything. He's just an actor, right? And then while you're looking at him cleaning things up, they're stocking the shelves with things that will kill your children. You can go verify this today. Next time you go grocery shopping, just spin a can of Progresso's clam chowder. You know that clam chowder we all grew up on, that we all love? That it's got a blue and white label. Spin that can around and look at it. It says bioengineered food. Unless you're taking body protection compounds like rich people, right? Body protection compounds, and you're eating grass-fed and finished food, unless you're doing what I would suggest and recommend on my page with your hormones. If listen, the side effect of your hormones being off and eating Play-Doh is death. That's the side effect. The side effect of having low testosterone as a man, 300, 400, is death. It's heart attack at 50 years old. The side effect of a woman's estrogen level being off after she has a child is cancer, is death. You have to get your